Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about group polarization. And this involves changing our opinion from before we discuss as a group to after we discuss group, but beyond reasons simply of people making a good argument. To get into detail, group polarization is when we're trying to make a decision as a group, but tend to get more and more extreme in the direction of the majority opinion. And we can easily see some light examples of this. If the majority of a group prefers the color red to the color blue, it's no wonder that the products of theirs and their ideas behind why red would be better than blue will get stronger and more frequent. And this sounds a lot like the concept of an echo chamber, that when we face ideas similar to our own, our belief is strengthened. But the difference with group polarization is that it also affects those that had a neutral or contrary opinion to the majority before discussing as a group. So even if I think that blue is better, I might leave that discussion saying, "Oh well, red seems pretty dang good. I think I'm going to start saying I think that red's my favorite color now." Anyway, moving on. Where this gets more problematic is that we may not really care what someone's favorite color is, but we will care a lot more if they're starting to be very biased and have some discriminatory opinions. If the majority of a group held the belief that white people were better at a job than blacks, even including details and a thorough argument to support their belief, then members of that group will start to make decisions that follow that majority thinking, and even get more strong opinions based on that. To use a more common example, if the majority of a school's district board of directors are against having gender-neutral bathrooms, then the group as a whole will show signs of siding with that belief and start making policies based on it, even though some people just want a place to poop in peace. That's enough of examples, though. Let's get into why exactly group polarization happens. One theory behind group polarization is social comparison theory. We want to be seen as good, socially desirable, or to have a seen as good to others, but also good to ourselves, that we're the bee's knees and such. And so we compare ourselves to others to get that rating as to how good we are, and we compare ourselves to their behaviors as well, particularly those that make them stand out as good in the group. And so when we see those behaviors, we'll see, ooh, that's a good idea to stand out as good. And it can breed a sort of competition that we also want to stand out as good, and so we'll start copying their behaviors. This has been shown in some research as even without having a discussion of ideas, just simply bringing up ideas in a group and then breaking apart, we will see some group polarization, although to a lesser extent than actually discussing it as a full group. Um, Alternative to the social comparison theory, there's the persuasive arguments theory, that the more persuasive an argument is, the better that it is that we will be polarized to that, not just to agree with it, but to agree with it more strongly and have more severe beliefs of that. Um, the idea behind this is that people only have so many memories, so even if we say that we've heard all the details of an argument, we'll only remember so much of it. And so when we meet for a discussion, if the majority of people hold one belief, there'll be a lot more support for that one belief in the argument, making it seem a lot more persuasive to the group than the belief of the minority. So most studies on group polarization have been on how it can increase and decrease risky behavior. But some research has also found that when we're motivated, sorry, uh, we see we seem to be polarized based on the persuasiveness of an argument. But when we're not motivated, when we're just passively listening or something, we tend to be polarized based on how well the person argues rather than the content of their arguments. And so this gets into one of the ways that we can avoid group polarization, which is to be motivated, to be interested and engaged when we're discussing these topics, so that we can look to the content of discussions, not just how frequently it's discussed or how well it seems discussed, rather than the actual content of it. Another way that we can avoid group polarization is to try and make our ideas as about equivalently present at the beginning, to have a diverse set of ideas and backgrounds represented before the argument. We can imagine that group polarization is much more common when all the ideas, when there's one large majority that can sweep people away. But if everybody has about equal representation, you really start to just have how good of an argument people can make to convince other people of their argument. One last idea is how we can prevent group polarization in groups that aren't uh, equivalently distributed among backgrounds and such, would be to make sure that we acknowledge the alternative opinion and we have someone checking to see if these are too extreme of beliefs, that we check what our beliefs were before and after the discussion to see why it is that we changed our beliefs, and to always have an open room for discussion, that even if this is the main discussion, to have room for someone to bring up what about this contrary opinion, so that we don't feel this pressure to go along with the group. And that has been group polarization with Ryan Blau. And so, as the takeaway, try to be motivated in what discussions you do have, interested and engaged. Try to have a diverse set of people with backgrounds and ideologies when you do discuss, and try to make room for discussion of the contrary opinions. Um, I'll see you all next week, and goodbye.